Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the MLB slate for Monday. We just have a 6-game slate today, so let's get started. As always, appreciate it if you hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already. Looking at the totals today, we have a couple of teams in some decent spots. I mean, who would have thought the Pirates would have a higher total than teams like the White Sox and the Blue Jays today, but that's just the kind of slate it is. Those teams getting a tough matchup. Lance Lynn is pitching for the White Sox. Alex Manoah is pitching for the Blue Jays, although he got absolutely destroyed in his most recent start. We have teams like the Braves look decent against the lefty. I like the Yankees bats just because they're super cheap on DraftKings still. Like LeMahieu, Rizzo. Voigt's not in this projected lineup, but the way he's been swinging the bat, I think they're going to try to get Voigt in the lineup today. Even guys at the bottom like Gardner, Odor is a cheap guy. The Cubs, you have Schwindel 27, Ortega 37. They look nice. And then the Astros are probably the top stack of the slate. For me, guys like Aledmys Diaz continues to be cheap. Jake Meyer's been swinging such a good bat, and he's only $2,400. Only bad part is that he bats near the bottom of the order, but that's just going to lower some of his ownership. And then on the Oakland side, I love guys like Josh Harrison. I like guys like Starling Marte, Mark Canha, and then Matt Chapman's price tag has skyrocketed up to $5,000. So kind of like Harrison, saving some money, going Diaz instead. But going back to DraftKings here, pitching-wise, don't have a ton of good studs. You only have Lance Lynn, Zach Greinke as some of the top options of the slate. Lance Lynn has been good all year. He's slowed down a bit recently. A couple of disappointing starts for him, but the matchup isn't the best. But just with the lack of options, I got to go with him. I like to get to him instead of paying $10K for Montgomery against the Braves. And then I think I kind of like Zach Greinke as my other pitcher. He's $8,900, not a good strikeout pitcher. If he's not going to go deep into a game, he's probably going to give you under 10 or under 15. Occasionally he goes like 6, 7 and then gets a couple of strikeouts. Team gets a win. He's pitching well, so he can have big games. But just with the Royals having a low total, I'm willing to take a shot on a guy like Zach Greinke, who I know is still a good pitcher, and they're probably going to get a lot of run support, so good shot that he can get the win if he pitches at least 5 innings. And then from the bats perspective today, we have a couple that look in pretty good spots. First base, you have expensive guys like Freeman, lefty, but he's been awesome recently. For value, you have guys like Rizzo at 35. I think Voigt's going to be in the lineup at 31, whether they put him at first base in place of Rizzo or if they play him at DH, just because he's been so good for them. Batting .368 with 3 bombs in his last 38 at-bats, 14 hits, bunch of RBIs for him. He's had some huge games, whereas Rizzo has kind of struggled since he's been back. So for that reason, I think Voigt could get the start over Rizzo, or they could play both of them and play Voigt at DH. You also have Schwindel at 27 as a value play, if you needed to. He's also been red hot for the Cubs, .395 in his last 10 with 3 bombs. Second base, going to guys at the top are like Altuve looks good. Ozzie Albies always great against lefties. You can go cheaper for a guy like Jed Lowry, LeMahieu at $3,700, Josh Harrison at $3,400. Third base, it's basically Austin Riley as the most expensive guy and probably the best pay up on the slate at third base. Chapman is probably my second guy. Diaz, I like to get to him always just because he's so affordable. Josh Harrison is in the mix. Going back to second base, I think I'll plug in Josh Harrison. He can play my second or third. Both positions have some other guys that we can play, so kind of just depends on where you're going with the rest of your lineup. But I like Harrison. He's also been really good for the Oakland team since they acquired him. .355 in his last 10, 1 home run. He gives you a little bit of speed as well, 8 stolen bases on the season, and this Oakland team loves to run. Speaking of running, going into the outfield for Starling Marte makes like a good pay up on the slate where there's not that many good spots to pay up for. Alvarez lefty, but he's been awesome. He's the guy that you could make a case for. And then don't really feel great about paying over 5K for any of these other guys in some of these tougher matchups. So give me Marte against the lefty. He's been awesome against lefties. He's just been so good all year, even when he was with the Marlins to start, and then when he got traded to Oakland. Just been stealing bases at an unreal clip. 2 stolen bases last night. He's now on a streak of 5 in a row with at least 1 stolen base. And that is huge for DFS scoring, especially when a guy bats near the top of the order. He's probably going to get 4 or 5 at-bats almost every night. He gives you power to hit a home run, get some doubles, triples, get some base hits, and score some runs. So 57 is expensive, but looking at his numbers, he even has 11 stolen bases against lefties, so he's not afraid to run, even against southpaws. And then last but not least, Jake Myers, just because he's so cheap and gives you a bunch of power. $2,400 allows you to pay up for Marte. Also a guy that will hit near the bottom of the order, but it doesn't really matter when he's putting up double-digit fantasy points and his price tag is still only $2,400. In only 44 at-bats, he has 3 home runs and only 14 strikeouts, so he's putting the ball in play most times. So that's about it for the video, at least on DraftKings. We'll take a look on FanDuel now. So over on FanDuel, for me, it's Lance Lynn as my pitcher. You have guys like Manoah, Greinke as pivots. I think Montgomery is super cheap at 8K, but I don't really want to play anybody against the Braves. I like Yuli Gurriel 31, just how good he is against lefties, and just the price tag is pretty nice compared to some of the other guys. Ledman Diaz, nicely priced, 27. Harrison, also nicely priced at $2,700, and then going to Marte, who I'm expecting to have another big game at home at 39. Makes for at least, you still have 31.25 left, so plenty, even with paying for a 10K pitcher. Just going with some of the value with Diaz and Harrison makes it work. So that's about it for the video. Thank you for watching. Best of luck tonight, and I'll see you all next time.